Welcome to this multi-part series in redesigning this motorcycle, where we're going to be taking a number of components through a redesign process, from a design review through to manufacture. If that's something that sounds like it interests you, now if that's something that sounds interesting to you, then give the series a like, subscribe, and follow for more. The first thing we're going to do is going to remove this spoiler from the motorcycle. It's just a couple of Allen key bolts and that's it. It would be good to get a full scan of this front end as it is, and maybe consider the full lock positions as well, especially if you're planning on designing this to come further back. We're going to need that if we're designing in 3D CAD. Okay, those two are removed. Now we have our spoiler. So that I don't lose these, I'm just going to put these back in, because I also don't want to lose the rubbers on the bottom of the mount. So when we're looking at our parts, the manufacturer often leaves us some information. For example, it's a Triumph part, its part number is 2311906 and it's issue 1, so it hasn't been revised before this was manufactured. It was manufactured in March of 2023 and its material is ASA, which means we need to consider choosing a material with similar mechanical properties for a part like this. Now this is a plastic injection molded part. There's a few details that you'll begin to recognize when you get familiar with looking at molded parts, and that's going to be, say, the split line, for example. The split line appears to run along this sharp edge. It's disguised in the boundary of the part all the way around this edge, and then we come to this strange, slightly different texture. Now that indicates that actually we have a movement which is coming into the mold to create this part, and I'll explain in just a moment why that is. And then the split line continues around to this edge, and then you'll actually see, if you look very carefully, that continues all the way around this edge. So it's just disguised in the design of the part. Now since it's in a mold, it's going to need to be separated. But if we have a piece of material in here to make this, it's going to be stuck. So that's why we have a movement, an external piece that comes into the tool during the manufacturing process, which is then removed later on in the process, allowing it to be removed. Now the other detail you'll see is the ejection marks, or the ejection pin marks. Small circular pads, which is where the pins press this part out of the mold. Now we've got about 7 on each side, and that's to create an even pressure so that when it is pushed out, it doesn't deform. Because it's going to be pressed out of the mold when it's still hot, so that we can move on and start producing the next part. But as I said, we want even pressure spread evenly across the part to push it out without it deforming. So that's the injection molding details. So when we look at the surfaces of this part, we'll see that it's textured all over, with the exception of one location, which is inside this feature here. Now that texture is going to be applied to the mold, which then prints onto the plastic as it's molded. I can't remember the name of the process that you perform on the molding itself, but I'll put my best guess just here. We are going to be using FDM Filament 3D printing, so we're not going to have to be too concerned about the manufacturing constraints. We just need to design something that's going to be stiff and sturdy and with similar material properties. Now onto the design features. We're going to start with these bosses. So these are going to be setting the height of the part, or the depth of the part relative to the mounting location, or the headlights. They kind of sit back a little bit from the main part, and that's likely because they had an idea where they want the spoiler to be, but then the only mounts available were back here. So we're going to have to do the same thing. So we're going to create mount features back here, and we want to join this surface to a surface lower down. And there's only a couple ways of doing that, and this is one of them. And they've kind of stylized that a little bit and giving it a little bit more form throughout the structure, helps to give it a bit more stiffness. This is actually extremely stiff, especially in this region. Now you can see that these holes are actually slightly slotted, which means that there's going to be some tolerance between the left and right side of the bike. Now I don't really need to care too much about that, because I can just measure straight off of my bike for the design of this part. But if I was to design this for multiple parts, I'd probably try and follow this exactly. Just for safety, I probably will. Then we have a lip that goes around the whole part, which helps to provide a bit of extra stiffness, but it's also slightly aesthetic, because now we have, instead of a straight edge that we're looking at, we have this kind of stylized curvature. That curvature also has an additional benefit in regards to aerodynamics, because it's going to be encouraging airflow to come underneath. Now, when you have a fluid or gas, or air in this case, flowing very fast over a surface, what we get is a pressure drop. So that high velocity air flowing underneath here is going to have to create downforce on the nose to help keep the tire on the ground during launch, for example. We have this random feature in the middle. Now that might just be an aesthetic part as well, to look like it divides between the left and right headlights. And then besides that, we also have these little wings on the side. Now both features do provide an extra additional bit of stiffness, but I think this is also an aesthetic choice to help it kind of blend in with the side of the headlight, because this is just tucked under the side. So this is going to be my focus of this redesign, because I think we can do something with this to help improve the design of the headlights. Maybe make the whole thing a little bit bigger, and maybe do something with the internal surfaces. So for the material, the original part uses ASA, which is like the outdoor version of ABS. It's great structurally, but it's a bit weak when it comes to UV, heat, and weather resistance. So ASA provides the UV, heat, and weather resistance, whilst also having similar mechanical properties as ABS. So the final part is going to be produced in ABS, but for prototyping, I chose the next best thing for UV, which is PETG. This also comes pretty cheap and is easy to print. As for the manufacturing, I'll be using FDM 3D printing. My printer is a Creality Ender 3V3KE. After printing, I'll be trying to improve the finish with vapor smoothing, and then attempt to transfer a texture to the part. For the design features, the original part feels quite small, and I want to create more volume at the headlight, so we'll be scaling this up in size. The mounts are going to stay kind of with the same design concept. I'd like to make the central divide more pronounced, kind of creating two vents, which I like the idea of being coloured inside. And then there are the wings. These are the primary target. So creating volume is my main objective, so I want to create a discrete but significant wing, partially rearward and around the side of the headlight. It will need to have form for stiffness, and consider a design suitable for stickers so it's not just plain. And I don't want it to be oversized or obnoxious like some of the aftermarket parts that I've seen. So in the next video, we're going to be getting out the 3D scanner, we're going to be scanning the part, the surrounding area on the motorcycle, and we're going to be taking that point cloud and trying to process it to get something as clean as possible. And then we're going to import that to our 3D CAD program. Now if that's interesting to you, then please share, like and subscribe and follow for more. And I'll see you in the next one.